Humbled, my friends! Humbled and humbled and humbled. Good God. Ah, the Bonemass. The Bonemass. You know, we had a whole objective, which was just to get to Bonemass. Bonemass is a long, long way from anywhere we've discovered, anywhere we've been to. So this was going to be a whole expedition to get there. This was going to be a journey. This was going to be like Lord of the Rings, baby. We need to get to Mordor to get to Bonemass. And what a journey it was. We did play very carefully. Until we got Valheimed. Again, Valheimed every single goddamn time. We knew that we had to probably upgrade a little bit, right? So me and Jordan have kind of fallen into our playstyles. Jordan, classic OK Mage, is much more comfortable at the range DPS and taking that like massive damage while holding back and avoiding enemies. I'm much more melee smork, man. I'm Clark the Chop. I like to chop. So we were looking at what we wanted to do, and we noticed that we had the option to build root armor. Root armor actually has a set bonus for range DPS, which is awesome. So we were like, oh, we should get Jordan like a full set of root armor so that she's as solid as she can be. And I should go like full iron, like actual full tank mode with big shield and things like that. So we looked at our resources that we had and started assessing what our situation was. Jordan already had an iron chest. I didn't have any iron yet, and we had a little bit of iron left. So I was like, okay, I could build a little bit of this and get set up there, but we need more roots to make a root armor, which means going back to the swamp. And we weren't sure where we got roots from, which was rough. So like, I think it comes from the trees, or maybe it comes from abominations or something along those lines. So we're like, right, well, we're going to go to the swamp. We've already cleared out a previous swamp. There's no dungeons or anything there, and we're probably going to need more iron. So we're going to go to a new swamp. So far in this game, the swamp has been our Achilles heel, because the swamp at night is hell. It's just hell. It's not only a never-ending spawn of monsters, most of them archers or poison enemies, but also wraiths, and wraiths do tremendous amounts of damage. So we were smart about this. Genuinely. If you watch this VOD back, we're really good until we're not. And we head to the swamp, we get our long ship, we pull up at the swamp, and then we secure the beachhead. I'm like, right, we're good here. And then we really slowly, incrementally worked our way through the swamp, and we're killing abominations. Like, I can parry them, so essentially I tank it. So we've got fallen into a sort of MMO style. So I'm like tanking it. I like getting the parries, it takes a ton of bonus damage, and we're just piling damage into these abominations, and they're dying nice and quick. So we killed a couple of abominations, and then we're rooting around the swamp to essentially find more abominations, which was fine. Absolutely fine. Until we hit a part of the swamp that turned to nighttime, and then hilariously boarded the plains that had 4 death skeetos on its border that just swarmed us. And in that, like, panic to try and resolve this situation, because we ended up in just, like, knee-deep water that sheathes your weapons. The second you hit a certain depth of water, even though your character can walk, you just sheathe your weapons, which means you're just, like, pressing buttons and nothing happens. It's all very frantic, and we died. And I want to say, we were there for a good amount of time, and everything was fine and dandy. We were, in fact, like, strategically heading back. We were like, okay, nighttime is coming. We were strategically heading back towards the boat to collect up and rest up and then reset the day and things like that, and then we just died. This couldn't have gone worse, honestly. Like, trying to resolve this could not have gone worse. Plan 1. We kind of died near the shore. Okay. In fact, Jordan got back to the boat and was like, my corpse is right next to our longboat. Okay, so we weren't far from our base. So we're like, all right, plan is this. What we'll do is we will build a raft, just a very basic raft, and we'll just sail the, like, couple of minutes up the shoreline and just jump off, get your gear back, make sure you're established, I'll wear some basic gear, and then we'll sort of work our way back towards my body and get my stuff, which is a little further in. Alright, cool. So we set off. In the distance, like, we have to go around the plains to get there. In the distance, like a pixel away, you see a death skeeto on the shoreline, and it's chilling, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's a death skeeto, I'm going to move away. Nope. This thing went. And beeline straight for the boat. And the raft is so weak, this frigging mosquito, and Jordan didn't have a bow on her, and I didn't have a bow either, killed the boat and sank us. A mosquito sank our boat. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. It sank the boat and just drowned us both. So, like, okay, we'll build yet another raft. We'll build another raft, and I will go much wider around the coastline, right? Avoid the plains entirely. So we did that. We get to the edge again. We park our raft up. And there, as I'm approaching where it is, there's an abomination at our boat, just destroying it. Our longship, which is not cheap. This thing requires a lot of iron and stuff like that to build. Like, it's of the resources we have, it's a lot of stuff. And as we just pulling up, I see the longboat get absolutely annihilated. And right there is Jordan's corpse, and this abomination is just camping the shoreline. So we're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Legitimately, what are we going to do? So we're thinking about it, and we're like, okay, maybe I can pull in here, make a run for it, and jump out and then immediately get clobbered into the floor. So we're dead again. Third raft. We reset the day. We put more gear on. We raid our old gear and head back to the swamp. Thankfully, this is the one that did work out. We took it very slowly. We like got out there with our basic weapons, fought off what was there, killed the abomination. Jordan got her gear, and then we got to my gear. I'm like, okay, let's head back. And this was, again, like an hour and a half. I think it was longer. Actually, I think it might have been nearly 2 hours, this process of just going to get some roots for Jordan. That was it. That was all we were trying to do. And hopefully get some iron for me, which we did not do. We got back, but we did build Jordan's full root set. So we were like, okay, we have made progress. I ended up with my iron buckler. I had full iron armor then. She gave me the chest. She got full root armor. So all in all, we did progress, but oh my God. Talk about like a 2 minutes... probably 20 seconds of problems led to like an hour and a half of resolution. That's Valheim, right? That's Valheim. And that's part of the journey, like that resolve of what's going on. I'm not complaining because this is the game. This is like overcoming that adversary is so good. Like when you set sail and you're free and you've got everything with you and you're like, oh my God, we saved it. We saved it. So we're like, we need to go and see Bonemass. We also wanted to turn in our quest item from doing the smoldering cavern. So we went to do that as well. Like, let's go see what this is. This might be something like poison immune armor, something, you know, something cool, something to help with the swamp, maybe to nullify it, whatever. So we went and did that too. And a little disappointed in this. There is some bonuses. We got all the way there. We had to circumvent the plains again. And we attacked a Draugr village, which was technically in the meadows, so it wasn't super worth it, but we suspect these villages are random encounters, and in high-level areas, they're probably pretty good. But we got back to there, we turned the quest in, and it was like, oh, I expanded the store. So I assume doing the other quests will expand stuff. The most important item we think we saw was the straw hat, which increases farming by 25. But it had a whole bunch of other items, and we're like, these might be really rare. We also found another store, an actual, like, Grey Dwarf store that seemingly sells a bunch of rare items. So we need to go and visit that as well. We don't know what that does yet. So we've got, like, a ton of options and threads of things to do. At this point, John's like, I've made us some frost potions, so which means we can go to the mountains. Because to get to Bonemass, we're not sure, we either need to go around the actual landmass itself, or we go across the land through the mountains and stuff. So we weren't sure what to do. So while Jordan was finishing up making some food and stuff for us, I was like, I'll take the boat and just travel past Camp Biscuit, which we've set up there, and see if there is just a way of sailing to Bonemass, which involves us not going over the mountains and the plains, because that's what's between us and Bonemass. So we're like, okay, I'll go try that. And I just sailed up the coast a little bit until I found another zone. I mean, this game just goes, oh, wait, there's more called the Mistlands. I was like, Jordan, there's another place up here called the Mistlands. There is a really weird looking place that is very misty and hard to see what's going on. And I was terrified. But because you like go through the fog to see it, I got beached. And I was like, oh my God. I'm stuck, and there's going to be something like Desquitos or Bloodworms, or something's going to get me on the shoreline of this place. Nothing did, thankfully. I managed to get the boat back out and then investigate it, but we were blocked off up there, so I was like, okay, can't go that way. I think we got to go across the lands. Or, and again, it's always or, very deep to the south, this might be just a very large island. Potentially, we go very large south, and we can go around this entire thing entirely. Not sure, but we were ready to go and see Bonemass, right? We had our armor, we had our weapons. Jay was all set up. I had all the best stuff I had. We're going to traverse this area and go across the mountains and go through the plains to see if we can get to Bonemass. They finally got there. So we begin, and we went into the mountains. A little surprised by the mountains. Now, you've got to be a little careful in Valheim, is each biome has can have the same name, but they're built very, very differently. Is we did go across the mountains. Some wolves, I finally got to see the wolves that Jordan had been telling me existed since, like, day one. I finally got them. We killed them. And then we're immediately out of the mountains. Didn't see anything like a new resource, a new like herb, a new ore, nothing like that. Didn't see anything like that, but it was a very thin mountain range. So we were like, maybe this is just a small mountain and there's going to be a bigger mountain that we need to investigate at some point. Something along those lines. We're like very like, okay, went across the mountains, came down and found a black forest that we could go through. Until we found a swamp, which was between us. So I was like, now we've got to go through the swamp. So again, we were really careful. We built like a little house. We brought a portal with us so we could go back to the base and drop stuff off, and then come back, dismantle the portal, and keep pushing forward. That kind of thing. Until we hit a shoreline. And Bonemass is across another water, right? Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. So like, we both stood at the shore, because I remember saying to Jordan, I was like, I think that's water. She went, oh my god. So there's totally a way to get here by boat that's nothing to do with the mountains and plains and black forest and swamp that we've just been through, but like there's totally a way here, we just don't know where it is. Like, alright, what are we going to do? I don't know. I guess we set up a portal and we build a boat here. So we built not a raft, we built the medium-sized boat to be a little more secure in case there was like a sea serpent or a leviathan out there. So like, all right, that's what we're doing. And we sailed across, and sure enough, we could see a swamp on the other side. So we were being, again, very careful. I was like, John, I don't want to land us at the swamp. We've had nightmares building houses at the swamp. I think if we build a stone house, it's probably much more secure. But we obviously, it's impatience. We want to see Bonemass. We want to do that kind of stuff. So I'm like, all right, let's just go around this corner. I think I can see a meadows not far from here. And that's our staging ground for this, to jump off. So she's like, all right, Jordan wanted to jump in. I'm like, John, every time we land at the swamp, it's just really bad. She's like, I think we could get away with it. I'm like, if an abomination shows up, it's just going to crush our entire building. It's going to be bad. And she's like, all right, all right. So we went to the meadows. We set up a little base there. That's our jumping off point. All right, sweet. We're going to Bonemass now. This took all day. This is all day, dudes. All day to finally get to Bonemass. But we were there. We were there. We were cusping. And then we see it. The giant toxic skull in the swamp. So again, we were trying to be clever. Like, okay, let's build a respawn point nearby. Just so we can have a place to get going, right? Let's build a respawn point nearby just so we can prepare, we can sleep, and we can make sure it's daytime, things like that. So we built ourselves a little, like, temporary camp there, and we were ready. Now, we weren't sure what to use to summon Bonemass. We've got used to the system now, so we brought everything with us that came from the swamp. So we had, like, root, ooze, abomination trophies, withered bones, which is what it turned out to be. So we brought all this stuff to try and figure out what was going on. And we tried to guess at best what we would have. So she has, like, poison arrows in case it's something we can do that against. Those of you who know Bonemass know that didn't work. Bunch of different types of arrows. I was ready to do whatever. And also, we have never wiped to a boss in this game. At all. I don't know when this came into the game. I will want to check the history at some point. I don't know when the swamp was at it, because Alex told us when he played the swamp wasn't there. Because this thing is nothing like the other bosses at all. Like, I feel like there was feedback from the 1.0 or 0.7 version of the game, whatever Alex played, which was like, the bosses are just too easy, which they are. And they were like, all right. All right, here you go. Now, that might be the case, or it's more of a puzzle to solve, because we are both seasoned progress players against tough bosses, right? I'm more on the raid side, obviously. My history comes from a lot of mythic raiding and high-end raiding in World of Warcraft. Jordan has done excessively high Mythic Plus runs in World of Warcraft, where it gets, like, constant levels of progression, where even just the trash enemies are a progression point themselves. So we're both of the mindset which is very different than a lot of people who watch streams and things and have their own personal experience, where if they die, then they're thinking about items and gear. We're always thinking about the puzzle. What is the puzzle? And I'll explain to you why we think that way after we did this. So Bonemass appears, way cooler than the other two bosses, way cooler. This giant custom model. Immediately, it's green and toxic, so yeah, we know it's got to poison us. And it does this enormous AoE poison breath, which also summons a ton of adds. It's usually 2 blobs and a skelly, which can also be an archer skeleton, which is problematic. And it does this very regularly. It also self-heals, heals itself, and takes so little damage. So our immediate thought was like, okay, how do we tackle this? It's a really it's a tough one. It's a tough one. How do we do this? So we're starting to like not care about what's going on. We're more thinking like, what is the thing here? How do we do this? Because melee is seemingly very awkward because he spawns a ton of adds around him all the time. And Jordan quickly notices, like, my arrows don't do anything against this enemy. Like, I'm hitting for 7, which is no good. So I was like, well, I need to... Okay, let's start doing the list, right? That's how we approach these kinds of bosses. It's our mentality. Let's start running the list. Let's run the list. So it was like, okay, I need to parry it. If we parry the boss... Does it take just significantly more damage? In which case we can just pop off against it. What if we kill the adds? Do the adds actually tie to its HP? Which is a classic gaming encounter. It's like, you're not really killing the boss. You kill its adds. And then it'll take significantly more damage or weaken it. Can we just kite the adds and ignore them and focus on the boss? That's another strategy. So all these ideas were running through our heads. Nothing seemed to work, though. Really not. We kept it alive for a really long time. We actually ended up just naturally retreating because we were like, okay, whatever we're doing here is not working. It's not working. I did parry the boss. It hit so hard that I did parry it, but it also drained all my stamina. Then it became very apparent that I think he's got a different type of rain. It's a green rain. And whatever the slowing and stamina reducing effect on you in that, because you get a natural stamina reduction regeneration nerf if you're wet anyway. I think it's like double, because I could not regen stamina to save my life. It was like 2 a second or something. It was crazy. I was like, I just can't do anything. I'm literally like, it's almost like I'm being petrified, essentially. So just getting away from all the adds is hard enough. The adds have very little health, though. It's like, we can kill these adds, but obviously the blobs are also poisoning. He's poisoning and things like that. So we're like, okay, we probably want to come back with some good poison resist potions. See how that works. And whatever we're doing here doesn't work. Like, range DPS doesn't seem to work. I did do significant-ish damage to it via melee. And what I found is, like, his melee swings are extremely easy to avoid damage from if you've got stamina. Parry, meh. Not the greatest thing in the world, but like could be effective potentially. And so we were like, okay, it didn't stun the boss, the parry, so, which usually gives you an opening. That didn't happen. He just carried on playing normal, and I got stunned because it like drained everything, and my shield was just max. So we were just sciencing things. Really cool boss, actual prog point, and made us both really excited. As much as some people are like, oh, you get your butt kicked, It's like, kind of, but also like it presents us a puzzle. I love the puzzle. What is the puzzle? How do we make this work? And so this is where we're up to. So ideas that I've had, Jordan's been thinking about overnight, is one, different damage types. I think we're leaning into now that different weapons have different damage types, because we have noticed that in the past, such as like blunt weapons versus skeletons in the dungeons actually like do loads of damage, but I didn't like the blunt weapon anyway, and it's not like my axe was bad. So it's like, okay, maybe I'd try a blunt weapon. My axe does slash damage, which seemed okay, but Jordan's arrows do pierce damage, which don't seem to do much of anything at all. So let's switch that up. I wonder if I've got like big poison resist potion on me, can I essentially tank as much as possible and just wipe everything out when it spawns and just tank the poison damage? What if I get poisoned by the blobs and it can't be overwritten by the other poison? So I take a lower stack of poison and I keep it, and essentially we keep it like locked in place because I'll tank it, as, for want of a better word, and then we just nuke it down as fast as possible, because the longer and more adds that keep spawning, the more difficult it gets. Jordan did an excellent kite path, so we can kite the boss, but obviously it does very little damage. So it's like whether or not we can just pick off adds and stuff like that. We have a ton of things to try out. Fire damage. Can we do fire damage? Even though it's raining, does fire damage do a lot? Maybe. Because they do burn for a little while. So we could try that out, see if that works. So we've got a ton of ideas we want to do. And also, I started thinking, what if we just, like, put up natural defenses like we built out of the base? Like, we can sort of Terraria this a little bit if we want to. It's like, what if we know it's going to spawn around here and we build, like, tons of, like, spiked palisades, essentially, and make him walk through them. So he's just, like, getting battered by these things the whole way. And we just drag him through it. Because one thing we found when we were retreating is he doesn't despawn. But I love this. You see how excited and thought that goes into this? This is my, like, wheelhouse, baby. This is my wheelhouse. Like, I've got, like, I'm presented with this boss problem. The solution isn't super obvious. Okay, now we look at the tools that we have available. And this is how I always play games. Is a lot of people like to play games, and as soon as they unlock a new tier of upgrade path, they will, like, go and fully get that. I generally don't, or I really don't super engage with a system of a game until we hit an actual point of friction. Like, if I'm just plowing through the game anyway, engaging in min-maxing or even, like, doubling down into various other subsystems of the game to get what potentially is a really huge bonus doesn't really appeal to me. It's like, I get that that probably exists, but I'm fine as I am, and we're just sort of working our way through it. Now we've hit, like, a wall. It's like, okay, stop. What can we do here? How do we fix this? What do we try? What is the game trying to teach me? Without looking it up, like, what is the game trying to show me here? It's presenting me a problem. It's obviously doable. And one thing we can't do, which me and Jordan both agree on, is, like, yes, we can do certain upgrades. Like, I can upgrade my iron armor and stuff, like, to, like, tier 3. But that's not going to, like, quadruple our DPS output. That's not going to happen. And the boss is taking no damage. So that's not going to be it. It's got to be something else. Like, yes, we will be a little sturdier. And maybe that's enough. You just whittle him down, because bosses in general have a lot of HP. I don't know. But that's our plan for today. So I'm hoping I report back to you with Bonemass. And on that note, of course, Monday will be Expedition 33. The goal was hit. It was wonderful. So, yeah. Look forward to that. Bye, guys.